Netflix are saying that Meghan Markle is being completely ignored. Executives there, what's going on?
Bosses at Netflix have been quiet about their ongoing partnership.
Meghan can't seem to escape the wave of bad reviews and relentless backlash from the public. So much anticipation was ready to see this show push back. Understandably, I think that was the right thing to do. Ever since Meghan Markle stepped away from her royal duties, she has poured her energy into her partnership with Netflix. Netflix, they're partnering, of course, for them how she's seen by the public as ever has still not gone through and got all the ticks at this stage. So it'll be interesting to see. However, this decision doesn't seem to be giving her the results she hoped for, as Netflix CEO Greg Peters has finally broken his silence about the disappointing performance of Meghan's content and viewer backlash to hyped shows like Meghan Markle, with Love, Meghan. We're looking at, what is the viewing behavior, because that's the thing that matters the most, and the number of bad reviews the show has received. Greg's words concerning Meghan's show reportedly left her in tears. But what exactly did the Netflix CEO tell Meghan? Keep watching to find out. Netflix CEO Greg Peters brings Meghan to tears after so many bad reviews. Ever since Meghan announced her partnership with Netflix in 2023 to launch a show called With Love, Meghan, the public had been anticipating it. "In 2 weeks my show is coming out, which I'm so excited for," she shared. She's just changed the name, but interesting, the whole idea that Netflix is coming on board. It had been a while since Meghan appeared in any major project, and the suspense and curiosity were building. But the show reportedly fell short of what the public had hoped for. This led to a wave of bad reviews on the video and across social media. Reports say there are more than 7,000 negative reviews from viewers. This prompted Netflix CEO Greg Peters to speak to Meghan about the show's poor reception. However, the conversation didn't go as planned. Meghan was reportedly in tears, and the discussion had to be cut short. But what led to Meghan's unexpected tears? Let's find out. In 2020, Meghan announced her exit from the royal family. Harry and Meghan's sudden announcement to retreat from their royal duties sparked headlines like Megxit and The Rogue Royal, following the intense media bullying and relentless criticism she had faced since becoming part of the first interracial royal couple in British history. The decision was met with heavy backlash from the public, but Meghan didn't care. She stayed away from social media until January 1, 2025, when she did something unexpected. Meghan returned to social media, creating a brand new account since the Sussex royal account had been withheld since they stepped away from their royal duties. Meghan launched the new account under the name Meghan and posted her first video. It was a short clip of her running barefoot toward the ocean on a wide stretch of beach in Montecito. She bent down and wrote 2025 in the sand. This video marked Meghan's return to social media and was immediately met with viral attention. Within 24 hours, she had over 1 million followers. Many believed the timing of Meghan's return was strategic and that Meghan had something up her sleeves, and they were right. The next day, Meghan posted another video. Everyone jumped in to see what the Duchess of Sussex had shared, and this time, it was a trailer for her upcoming Netflix series titled With Love, Meghan. Viewers had lots of questions and curiosity about what the show would be. The trailer showed Meghan in her Montecito kitchen and garden, where she was cooking, gardening, crafting, and interacting with guests, including actress Mindy Kaling. Meghan expressed her excitement and hoped the audience would love the show as much as she enjoyed making it. However, the post received many likes. However, Meghan disabled the comments. She knew the section would likely be flooded with negativity, given her long history as a target of online bullying and public backlash. Still, the public turned to other platforms to express their opinions about the new Netflix show. Some responded positively and were excited to see a new side of Meghan, while others doubted it would live up to expectations or deliver anything impactful. With Love, Meghan was released on March 4, 2025. The inspiring series aimed to reimagine the lifestyle genre by sharing personal tips and tricks. "I like to plan fun for everyone or to have people at the house, and florals were like, you always have flowers," Meghan said, embracing playfulness over perfection and showing how beauty can be found in the everyday. In each episode, Meghan and her guests rolled up their sleeves in the kitchen and garden, inviting viewers to do the same. She and her husband, Prince Harry, were reportedly paid €100 million for the entire show. Some thought the pay was low compared to their brand value, but for Meghan, this was an opportunity to reconnect with the public and reshape her narrative. Meghan served as both the host and executive producer of the show. Netflix described the series as an exploration of how even the most minute details can help add beauty to our lives, and most importantly, help bring people together. Netflix had high hopes for the show, but when it finally aired, the outcome was unexpected. With Love, Meghan launched with 8 episodes in its first season and initially attracted a high number of views, as people were curious about what Meghan had created. However, once the series ended, a wave of negative backlash followed. The show received a series of bad reviews. Stay tuned as we unveil the bad reviews. With Love, Meghan was nicknamed with Hate, Meg B, with the highest rating for any episode on IMDb being just 3.5 out of 10. This score clearly showed that the series hadn't pleased the majority of viewers, and the comments were anything but loving. While the public backlash was somewhat expected, since Meghan wasn't exactly the public's favorite, what was worse was when even Meghan's own family came out to criticize the show. Meghan's estranged half-brother, Thomas Markle Jr., had a few nice things to say but ultimately dismissed Meghan's claims of having a modest upbringing where she reminisced about scrimping together 2 nickels for salad bars at Sizzler. Thomas insisted that Meghan actually dined at upscale spots, enjoyed fast food, and had plenty of TV tray dinners, and that her life was far from the modest, fabricated story she was now telling on the show. He even went on to say he had better things to do than watch the show, as the whole world knows how Meghan treated her family, especially her father, who gave her everything. This was an unexpected blow. Meghan's long-standing family rift continues to play out in public, but this wasn't expected at such a critical moment. Thomas's outburst made many people question whether With Love, Meghan was truly a lifestyle documentary or just a fictionalized series dressed up as real life. His comments added to Meghan's already polarizing image. The public echoed Thomas's sentiments, with many calling the series an exercise in narcissism, as Meghan centered the show entirely around herself. Others claimed the show lacked humor, irony, and self-awareness, and catered only to the elite class. One viewer noted that the cost of a single one of Meghan's crudite platters could feed a family of 4 in Nebraska for several days. Another said the amount she spent on edible flowers scattered across every dish could restock a public library that had suffered from book bans. The negative comments overwhelmed the few positive ones. It became clear that With Love, Meghan was, ironically, far from lovable in the eyes of viewers. It was even nicknamed with Hate, Meghan. However, Meghan's show was already embroiled in controversy right from the beginning of its announcement before it even dropped on Netflix on March 4. Leading up to the release, Meghan had posted a behind-the-scenes video of herself and her husband, Prince Harry, on Instagram. It featured Harry's first appearance in any of her social media content. But the post was met with intense backlash as the public quickly claimed that the show and its aesthetic were eerily similar to Pamela Anderson's Cooking with Love. Accusations of copying flooded in, forcing Meghan to delete the footage. She later re-uploaded it, this time ignoring the negative comments entirely. But the criticism didn't stop there, as she faced more backlash. Meghan still faced further criticism for allegedly trying to copy Pamela's entire concept and branding. Though she tried to ignore the noise, the media wouldn't let it go. While Meghan was still being accused of copying Pamela Anderson's show, it resurfaced that this wasn't the first time she had been accused of plagiarism. Back in 2021, a year after stepping away from royal duties, Meghan secured a deal with Netflix to develop Pearl, an animated series under the streamer's multi-year agreement with her and Prince Harry. However, the project was quietly cancelled. Pearl was intended to follow a 12-year-old girl who learns to step into her power and finds inspiration from influential women throughout history. But soon after the announcement, British author Mel Elliott spoke up, claiming striking similarities between Pearl and her own Pearl Power book series. Elliott's books, which had been published 7 years prior, also followed a young girl learning about equality and empowerment. The author was stunned that Netflix had copied a concept so close to hers without credit or collaboration. She reportedly said that the only reason they thought they could get away with it was because they were more powerful and more popular. It felt to her like a blatant attempt to rip off her work just because she wasn't rich or popular. Elliott, hurt and disappointed, decided to take legal action against Meghan and Netflix, as her lawyers sent a letter to Archwell, Meghan and Harry's movie production company, and Netflix in October 2021 and February 2022. They warned the companies that the production of the Pearl project might infringe on intellectual property rights belonging to Elliott. However, none of Elliott's letters were answered. Elliott expressed her frustration that while she had pointed out the similarities between her Pearl Power series and Meghan's Pearl project, neither Netflix nor Archwell acknowledged her letter. She would have loved to contribute or collaborate with the project, however, neither of those happened. Meghan's Pearl eventually got cancelled. Elliott only brought this controversy to the public after there was a growing series of complaints against Meghan's TV show With Love, as many believed that Meghan was mimicking Pamela Anderson's cooking business. But Meghan's controversies were far from over. Not long after the With Love partnership with Netflix, Meghan signed another deal to launch her new lifestyle brand, As Ever. The brand is dedicated to curating beautifully crafted essentials for the home. It brings Meghan's signature design aesthetic to life, as seen in her series With Love, Meghan. As Ever offers a bit of everything that Meghan had used in her show, be it for at-home chefs, budding hosts, or those who love a luxurious yet cozy aesthetic. She had personally developed these products and began selling them under As Ever. However, Meghan's new company name created further backlash as the public realized that her brand also shares the same name with As Ever, a New York-based clothing brand best known for a vintage-inspired jumpsuit owned by designer Kolsky Hart. There was also an existing Asgraphy trademark owned by Corbett. All this placed Meghan yet again at the center of controversy. The brand owner of the As Ever clothing line received several messages concerning the name of his company being used by Meghan. He was overwhelmed by the attention and had no advance notice about Meghan's choice of name. However, he wrote that he was aware and not affiliated. He intended to keep making clothes under the name but clarified that if Meghan ever decided to go into clothing, then it would be a problem, as his brand was registered under apparel. Kolsky, however, said he didn't have any interest in fighting, since everyone was doing different things under the same name. Meghan also revealed that she had delayed the relaunch of the As Ever brand because she initially wanted to name it American Riviera, which is a nickname for her Santa Barbara neighborhood. But that name would have limited her to products that were grown and produced locally in Santa Barbara, so she decided to use As Ever, a name she had secured in 2022. While Kolsky had prior usage, it was later discovered that he didn't have a registered trademark for the name, making him vulnerable to being overshadowed. Corbett, however, holds a registered trademark for As Ever Photography for photography services, which doesn't appear to conflict with Meghan's intended offerings based on her applications filed with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. But the alleged copying didn't stop there. A Spanish village named Perez accused Meghan of copying its coat of arms for the logo of her lifestyle brand. Meghan's new brand emblem features a palm tree flanked by 2 hummingbirds, and some noted its strong resemblance to the Morrison town's coat of arms. According to Spanish-language reports, the mayor stated it's a total copy and announced plans to formally request Meghan to change it. However, a close source revealed that Meghan's As Ever logo meant something deeply personal. The palm tree symbolizes her California home, and the 2 hummingbirds represent Prince Harry's favorite bird and their peaceful garden life. To this day, the logo still stands and the As Ever name remains, and no one has legally challenged it in court. When Meghan launched As Ever, she was surprised by the overwhelming love she received, as she sold out all her products within 45 minutes. After the success of the first release, Meghan also revealed that she had planned the product stock to last for the whole year but was shocked when everything sold out in under an hour. After Meghan's sellout, she hadn't been able to make any restocks available for purchase since April. The public was surprised by this pause as it's rare for a new company to start with such momentum and then have nothing left to sell again. Meghan, however, posted in June that customers should expect more products this month along with a new collection. She explained that she had chosen to put production on pause to restock and ensure that everything was stable. She was also focused on getting the best quality products for her customers. Meghan also revealed plans to expand the As Ever brand to include hospitality services, just like she said in the first episode of her series, "When I have someone stay, one of my favorite things to do is prep the guest room." She also told the public that everything she plans to do or create is a reflection of herself and she hoped that people would see her heart in her work. It's obvious Meghan's brand is an extension of her love languages. Despite the setbacks, the criticism, and the unending negative comments Meghan has received, she's still holding on to the reins strongly and has plans to continue filming the second season of With Love, Meghan. But what makes Meghan one of the most hated members of the royal family? Let's find out. Meghan, one of the most hated members of the royal family, in 2019 revealed that she was the most trolled person in the world, male or female. Despite being on maternity leave most of the year with Archie, the public still threw hateful words and criticism at her. This shook Meghan deeply as she was subjected to cyberbullying right from the moment she stepped into the royal family. Ever since she began dating Prince Harry, she quickly gathered enemies who saw her as unfit for royal life. Meghan described 2019 as almost unsurvivable as she was surrounded by negativity for things she hadn't done, for crimes she didn't commit. Before becoming Harry's wife or even girlfriend, Meghan had lived a life relatively free of such toxicity. She was barely trolled, mostly loved, and occasionally critiqued for her acting roles. But everything changed after marrying Harry. Many were up before sunrise to watch the royal wedding. An American actress became a real-life princess bride, and Roxana Saburi was there. The British media focused their attention on Meghan, monitoring and questioning her every move. First off, because of her skin color, Meghan Markle faced racial discrimination. As a biracial woman of African American and Caucasian descent, she shocked many by becoming the first biracial woman to marry into the British monarchy. Her marriage to Prince Harry raised uncomfortable questions among some white traditionalists who viewed her as a threat to the long-standing all-white image of the royal family. Almost all members of the direct royal line were white in skin tone. There was no brown or black skin among them. Although some historical experts claim that Meghan wasn't the first woman of color in royal history, she still became the center of constant racial stereotypes and criticism. There was hardly a day Meghan could go online without seeing an insult hurled at her simply for being a woman of color in the royal family. All these affected Meghan's mental health. But things would have been made easier if Meghan had the support of the royal family. Instead, some members of the royal family engaged in gossip concerning what Meghan's child would look like when she gave birth. Harry recalled that during one of his discussions with a member of the royal family, someone expressed concerns about how dark Archie's skin might be when she had him. While many may see this as a harmless statement, it affected Meghan, as she knew there was a high chance that her son would also face these negative racist stereotypes. If he was born dark and part of the royal family, he would probably be singled out as the Dark Prince, the Colored Prince, or even the Black Sheep, odd names they often used to nickname those who were different. These thoughts bothered Meghan, and she wanted to harm herself. She reached out to the royal family to help with the trolling that they were facing, but nothing was done. Prince Harry also said that while the royal family were aware of what was going on, they didn't even try to step in to avert it. Instead, they sat back and watched as they were being trolled. All these made Meghan and Harry find a way to help their situation. So they decided to leave the royal family and live a more private life away from the lurking eyes of the media, which was always focused on the members of the royal family, monitoring their every move just to make the headlines. Everyone was shocked that Harry and Meghan had come to this decision, but they did it to protect their family, especially their son Archie. They didn't want their children to grow up in a negative environment filled with criticism and intense backlash. Shortly after Archie's birth, they announced that they were taking some weeks off to spend valuable family time with their son. They left for Canada, where they spent the rest of their 2020 away from the royal family. Next, they announced their intention to step down as senior members of the royal family on January 6, 2020, and worked to become financially independent while supporting Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Queen Elizabeth had a meeting with Prince Charles, Prince William, and Prince Harry where they discussed Harry's decision to step away from royal duties. After several hours of discussion, the Queen released a statement to support Harry and Meghan's decision to live an independent life away from the royal family. However, Harry and Meghan didn't just leave immediately. They stayed back for about 3 months to be able to transfer their duties to others before they finally stepped away. They also made a final post on their Instagram page at Sussex Royal. Wondering what their final words were? Keep watching to find out. The Sussex Royals' farewell post began with the opening line, "As we can all feel, the world at this moment seemed extraordinarily fragile." They went on to say they were confident that every human being had the potential and opportunity to make a difference, as seen globally in families, communities, and on the front lines. They believed that together, people could lift each other to make an impact. The post also emphasized that the health and well-being of everyone across the globe were the most important focus as they worked to find solutions for the issues that had arisen as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. It continued by stating that while the public may not see them here on Instagram, they would continue to do their work and looked forward to reconnecting with them soon. Signed, Harry and Meghan. This was the final post on the Sussex Royal account, which had over 9 million followers. After resigning from their positions, Meghan and Harry moved to California, and they stepped away from social media, hardly making any posts of themselves or their children. This move helped to prevent the intense backlash and criticism that Meghan had faced these past years. She felt more at peace and glows in a different light, raising her 2 children away from the media noise. However, Meghan's return to social media on the 1st of January, 2025 after 5 good years of silence shocked everyone. Yet, it was an action that broke the royal tradition, as she wasn't meant to open a personal social media account. But that's not all, as her return marked the beginning of her show With Love, Meghan, which was in collaboration with Netflix. While the With Love, Meghan series has received a lot of criticism and bad reviews, Meghan has no plan to slow down or back down this time around from her critics. Instead, she has revealed that the season 2 of With Love, Meghan would return to our screens this fall, as the second season has completed filming. Meghan promises to share more personal tips and tricks for hosting and adding more fun and thoughtfulness to the everyday. What do you think of the bad reviews on Meghan's series With Love? Do you think the show should be cancelled by Netflix? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let's keep the conversation going. Don't forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe for more. Also click on the next video on your screen, you will enjoy it.